Kia ora New Zealand, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us as our unsettled summer week continues, and we're going to see quite a bit of fluctuation in temperatures and wind and calm over the next few days ahead. So this is how it looks for Tuesday. Things are a little bit warmer around the South Island. You've got more of a northwest flow. So your colder than average Monday has been replaced by a warmer than average Tuesday and probably a warmer than average Wednesday as well. Some areas may not be overly warm because the wind flow is not the hottest in the world, especially this southern portion, which is just brushing Southland. It's a little further south than this other airflow, which is more of a northerly subtropical one coming down. So some areas are going to really warm up over the next couple of days, but around Auckland and some of these western parts of the North Island, a bit of a cloudy, cooler sou'wester is blowing at the moment. Let's get into Wednesday, and it is a windier day. Now these winds are warm. We're going to be seeing temperatures into the late 20s and maybe even getting up into the early 30s across this eastern portion from about North Canterbury all the way up to about Hawke's Bay. So a pretty warm Wednesday on the way for those areas, but the showers come back to the west coast, rain comes back to Fiordland, and some will spill over into Southland and Otago before a cold change arrives at night, and it's fairly settled the further north you are, although still a bit of a sou'wester with clouds coming in around Auckland. Let's get into Thursday now, and it's much cooler. Some daytime highs in the deep south might struggle to get really actually even up into the teens, so it is a much cooler Thursday, colder than normal for this time of the year, and a similar story around coastal Otago as well. Most of the showers do clear away, and the cold front itself now moving into the North Island. There won't be much. If you need rain, this won't deliver very much for you. But if you are over in the northeastern corner, there is a chance it just might trigger a little bit because you're furthest away from the big high, so the air pressure is lower out this side, and you might find a little bit of rain starts to generate there. So on Friday, it's still showery around that northeastern and eastern side of the North Island, and certainly cooler than it was. You won't be getting up to 30 degrees. It'll be much lower than that, probably 10 degrees lower, and you've got that big high getting even closer, but still maybe a couple of showers in the South Island. So how much rain is coming this week? Well, here's the guide. Not much for the North Island. The blue, the green and the yellow, those are the first three colours. That's just 2, 5, 10 millimetres. So a little bit of patchy rain coming in, perhaps a little bit heavier over this side. You might get 15 or 20 millimetres, but it's really the west coast where the rainfall becomes heavier. It could get up to 100 millimetres in this area of blue, and the areas in pink and purple, that's more like 45 to 60 or 70 millimetres. So a fair bit coming for the west coast, and some spilling over 30 or 40 millimetres potentially for some parts of Southland. Let's have a look at the weekend now. Saturday, well, we're back to the next system, so warming up again on Saturday, and once again the nor'wester coming out of Australia and partially the subtropics might see a real bounce back in the temperatures, getting above normal, and we might even be getting back up to 30 degrees for some areas, or at least the late 20s. But late rain is arriving from that next front. There it is moving up on Sunday for the west coast. More rain for you. It's been a much wetter week for the west coast, wetter than average at the moment for you with this next rainmaker coming in. And these warm winds will be blowing through, so the eastern areas will be very hot on Sunday, potentially breaking 30 degrees, especially in the North Island. So there's a lot going on. Next week, by the way, it looks a lot more settled. There's high pressure coming. You can't quite see it on this map, but next week should at this stage be a little more settled. That is all from me. We'll catch you again on Wednesday.